Hi, my name's Bethany. I'm a first year sociology student and I did a gap year. I did a variety of things during my gap year. I did some work, I did some volunteering, I did some studying, I even did some travelling, but I was still worried about the transition from working life to university. I was worried about coming to uni and being a year older, if that would impact how I'd make friends. I was worried about what it would be like transitioning from a gap year to university, because everyone else will have just done their A-levels, so would still be in a kind of study mindset, whilst I'd still be in my kind of working mindset. What I will say is that though it's hard to get back into the flow of things, you do eventually get there. And once you're there, you know, it's like you were never not studying at all. And also, a year's difference really means nothing. No one cares. I've met several people on my course that have done a gap year. I've met people generally around that has a gap year. People in my flat have done a gap year. So it's a very, very common thing, and no one sees you as any different just for being a year older. And it's still just as easy to make friends, so it's all good. I do have a few tips and tricks on how to get used to it and how to get back into the flow of studying. So one of the first things is not being too harsh on yourself in the first few weeks. If you've done a gap year, it's more than likely that you've had a year out from, you know, any form of studying. So you might be slow at taking notes. You might think that you're not really getting the content as well as everyone else around you. But you really need to give yourself time and you need to be sympathetic to yourself. I found that independent study is so important, especially for my degree, sociology. So much of the time is independent studying, so you really need to get used to doing the readings around the work, doing the essential and, you know, the recommended readings, really throwing yourself into the modules and each lecture and seminar and making sure that you're really engaging in the content. Obviously at A-level there is some independent study, but this is like so much more independent study. And if you're not used to doing independent study because of the gap year, that can be really difficult. But I think it's really important to just stick at it, even if you're struggling, because I struggled for the first few weeks, motivating myself to do independent reading and that kind of thing. But, you know, I think you find the more that you engage in the content, the more that you get out of it, and the more that you come to like appreciate your degree and that kind of thing. And it is really enjoyable if you're like really into what you're reading. One of my top pieces of advice is doing all the essential reading at the start of the week. You know, it's out the way, you know, you've got that knowledge in the back of your mind so you can approach seminars really confidently. I did mine on the weekend, which I know not everyone's into, but getting it done on the Monday as well is like obviously a very useful thing. Self-discipline is really, really important. So making sure that you're getting that essential reading done before you go to a seminar so you have so much more to talk about. You're able to engage in the conversation, add loads to the conversation, and then you're really getting, you know, stuff out of your degree. Also, one very specific thing I will say is that 9 a.m.s are very, very tough. I had a completely wacky sleep schedule during my gap year. It was all over the place. So motivating myself to get up for a 9 a.m. is very difficult. But also, it's very crucial that you're going to the 9 a.m. So I do think it's really important to try and get used to going to sleep a bit earlier and getting up a bit, you know, earlier. Obviously, people that have come straight from A-levels are used to a kind of sixth form or college sleep schedule where you are getting up quite early. So I think it's really important to get used to the new sleep schedule at uni. So one of the main reasons I picked York is its location. I think it's a really, really beautiful city. It's got some amazing transport links. So from the city itself, you can go out to different cities on the train. Since I've been here, I've been to Newcastle and Leeds. There's buses all over the city to loads of different villages, loads of different shopping outlets and that kind of thing. And then within the city itself, it's got loads of shops. The Shambles Market is so cute. The Christmas market is really fun. It's very busy but really fun. I found that the uni has buses that go into town really regularly, all the way up until about 4 a.m. I've been able to use it whilst going out at night. I've been able to use it just for fun shopping trips or to meet people. It's a research intensive university, so it has some really strong rankings, especially in the Times Higher Education Guide, for its research, which was especially intriguing as a sociology student. So much of sociology is research, so it was really important to me that I go to a research intensive university like York. Another key reason why I picked York is it feels so safe. So we have a campus campus safety team and an app in order to, contact them and that kind of thing. Also, a major drawing point of York as a university is its societies. It has so many societies, so many things to engage with and get involved with, so many events and so on. I've really enjoyed getting involved in the Caledonian Society, which is, ceilidh dancing. It's really fun, it's part of my culture, and I think it's really cool that I can explore that in York, which I wasn't quite expecting. So that was really fun. It does weekly meetings, and I love being able to know that I'm doing something every week, and it's something that I enjoy, but it's something that's a bit different. I think that's really cool. I think the societies are a great way of socialising. I think it's a lot of fun in general, and it really pushes people out of their boxes, which I think is great. So many things drew me to York, and I've really enjoyed my time here so far. The transition from gap year to university was not as bad as I thought it would be. There's been so much support, and so many people are in the same boat. I've really been getting along with my studies well, and I'm really enjoying things so far. Thank you for watching. Bye!